Order. I will have order. Mr. Wright has proven one thing to us quite clearly, that the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. However, as Mr. Von Karma says, the second bullet fired was not found. Highly unlikely that the police merely overlooked the second bullet. So, what we have is this single bullet fired. I'd have to discount the defense's claim. I praise the judge for his wisdom in this matter.
Ah, how did this happen? I don't believe that the second bullet didn't exist. Was I wrong? Have I been wrong about this whole incident? What are you doing, Nick? Why aren't you raising an objection? I'm sorry, Maya. What? It looks like I was wrong. Nick? The second bullet wasn't there, then all my conjectures are for nothing. No. But you said you'd do it, Nick. You said you'd get Edward declared innocent. I'm sorry. Just when I saw the photograph, I thought that 2 shots had been fired. I was so certain of it, I thought I'd won. I thought there was another person, someone else who fired the killing shot. But now, it was wrong to think it could be that simple. The case has stood unsolved for 15 years. Nick?
Well, it seems that we have finally cleared up this incident. The one bullet was found at the scene of the crime. The shot was fired by Miles Edgeworth. Precisely. Ask one thing of Miles Edgeworth before passing my verdict. You been paying attention to the trial so far? Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any objections? Oh, do not. I do, but I can't. So, you killed your father, though that was not your intention. Yes.
Oh no. Accepted the guilt.
Very well. Statute of limitations on the murder of Gregory Edgeworth runs out today. Therefore, I must pronounce a verdict on the defendant today, right here. Right now. Indeed. Does anyone have any objections? Yes.
Been here before. It's just like my first day in court. There are so many things I know I should be saying. But my mind's gone blank. I can't find the words. The word is objection!
Mr. Wright, I have an objection.
Objection!
Your Honor. I object.
Mr. Wright, on what grounds did you object?
Oof. Nick? I don't know. His case is perfect. Oh no. Ah. Must exist. Bullet. What? What did you just say? Nothing. The second bullet must exist. But where? Someone took it.
It seems waiting is not going to produce us any answers from Mr. Wright.
Wait, Your Honor. The second bullet. It existed.
What? I just heard proof that it did not exist.
I realize that, Your Honor. I'm really grasping here. It's just someone took it from the scene of the crime. That's what happened.
But who?
The murderer.
The murderer? Just tell us, just who is this murderer?
Still thinking about that one.
Well, the criminal took the second bullet, but why? First of all, how would they have found it? Not easy to find a stray bullet, Mr. Wright. Was there some pressing need for the murderer to search for that bullet? Okay, first off, this doesn't have anything to do with that, does it? Well, I mean, he's responsible for it. Okay. He didn't want to lose his entire life. The whole thing, the whole reason he's continuing to murder is because... Anyway. Murderer had to find it. Otherwise it would have been obvious, right? General. Of course there was a name. That's why they took it. Oh, what possible reason could they have had? Well, the reason the murderer took the bullet away from the scene with them is... the bullet would be proof. Yeah? Maybe they thought that the bullet would be used as proof? Proof? It was a special bullet, so they took it with them. If that was the case, then they should have taken the bullet from inside Gregory as well. Why would they only take one of the 2 shots fired? Oh, right. Mr. Wright, have you really thought this through? Going to have to penalize you. Oh! Isn't going so well. Was there some pressing need for the murderer to search for that bullet? No, I don't think he needed it. Why would the murderer have spent the time to look for that stray bullet? I haven't got a clue. What's wrong, Mr. Wright? Oh, the murderer had no reason to take that bullet. You don't want to admit it, but it's true. Had to take it. Had to take it? The murderer? Well, what does that mean? Thinking too normal. Think crazy. Don't think why the bullet was taken. Think why the bullet had to be taken. Mr. Wright? Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, the murderer had no intention of taking the bullet from the scene. But the murderer had to take that bullet. Had to, Mr. Wright? What do you mean? Well, for instance... For instance, what? Maybe the bullet, hit the murderer? The bullet hit the murderer. Just saying, for instance. I mean, if it hit you, you would have to take it with you, wouldn't you? It's not like you could perform surgery right there. You know? Wait a second. I was just talking off the top of my head, but what if that's really happened? Let me get this straight. So at the time of the murderer themselves was shot. And they left with the second bullet still inside of them, thus leaving only one bullet at the scene of the crime. Yes. Yes, that's how it worked, yes. But there's a problem with that. The other 2 people rescued from that elevator, Miles Edgeworth and Yana Yogi, were both unharmed. So that would mean... the murderer came from outside, yes! Bum. 2 men fight inside the elevator. Trying to stop them, the boy picks up the pistol at his feet and throws it. The pistol discharges, and the bullet goes through the elevator door and hits the murderer outside. The boy loses consciousness. Then the murderer opens the elevator door and sees the men inside. Mr. Wright, You are truly the most unpredictable defense attorney I've ever known. I can tell you're grasping, yet I cannot deny the possibility of what you say.
Objection!
Saying deny it, deny it! No one involved with the incident was wounded. There was no murderer.
No one was wounded at the time of the incident. Right. I can't think of anyone. Hey, Nick. Huh? I just thought of something really crazy. Crazy? Remember what Mr. Grossberg said yesterday?
The realtor dealt a blow to his perfect trial record.
Wow.
It must have been quite a shock for Von Karma. He took a vacation for several months after that, you see. Yes, an unusual event for that. That was the first and the last vacation he's taken as many years of prosecuting.
Thought it needed to recover from the gunshot wound. Von Karma didn't take that vacation because of shock, but took it because he was injured. Could only mean one thing. He was the murderer in the DL6 incident. He was the man who shot Gregory Edgeworth. It was Von Karma. Oh man!
Nothing wrong, Mr. Wright? You seem dazed.
No, Your Honor.
Well, you've indicated the possibility that the murderer came from outside. Can you give us the name of your suspect?
Uh-oh. Could I come out and say it now? Say it now. Your Honor, there is a suspect. One lone suspect.
Well, this is certainly interesting news. Very well, Mr. Wright. Who is your suspect?
My hands are shaking.
For what?
Von Karma.
Karma. You mean the Von Karma, the prosecutor, the one standing right over there? Oh, you don't object? But you no need. Why honor this ridiculous outburst with my objection?
Because you took a vacation for several months starting the day after the incident. Yet you pride yourself on a perfect record. Why would you take such a long vacation without any reason?
You're claiming that I took a vacation to heal my injury from the incident. Fascinating. Prove it. I would have needed surgery, no? Where did I go under the knife at, Mr. Wright? Bring the doctor that operated on me. Have him tested.
Nick? Find out who his doctor is. No use. Edgeworth?
No, Von Karma. Perhaps too well. It's perfect. He wouldn't leave cold. He probably didn't undergo surgery. That would leave the doctor as a witness.
Nobody's that perfect. So what, Nick? Did Von Karma pull the bullet out by himself? It's insane. You need to stop using these terms as pejorative. No, he couldn't have. You can't just pull bullets out of yourself. Wait. What does that mean? That bullet has to be somewhere. But where?
Still in him. Well, Mr. Wright, can you produce evidence to prove that I was shot?
Yes. Alright, Von Karma, I'll prove it. I'll even use evidence. I know how you like it so much.
What?
The evidence that proves Mr. Von Karma was shot is...
Detective.
Take that!
Von Karma is perfect. He didn't risk surgery leaving an evidence trail. So then I ask, where is that bullet now? I think it unlikely that Von Karma performed surgery on himself.
You don't mean...
I do. There is the possibility that the bullet is still inside Von Karma.
Is that even possible? For all these years?
Well, there's one way to find out. But use this metal detector. Well, Von Karma, I'm going to run this over you and see what we find.
I refuse. You refuse. But refusing this means it's an incomplete bit. Or whatever. You acknowledge that the bullet is still inside you. Order, order, order.
Your Honor, the defense requests that we be allowed to use the metal detector.
Judge, I call for a suspension of this trial. This is an invasion of privacy.
The statute of limitations runs out on this case today. You who said we had to end it right here, right now.
Enough. I permit the use of the metal detector. Von Karma, you will submit yourself to testing.
Nick, mean. Oh, no, but we have to give it a shot. Acted! Something's inside his right shoulder. A bullet. Mr. Von Karma?
You. It was you.
I was afraid this would happen, and so I remained silent. Indeed, there is a bullet in my shoulder. However, it has nothing to do with this.
What?
I was shot in the shoulder long before the DL6. I claim that the bullet in my shoulder has no relation to DLC. But Mr. Von Karma, can you prove that? Prove? I have no obligation to prove anything. It is Mr. Wright who must prove something, not I. Mr. Wright? Well, can you prove it? Can you prove that the bullet in Von Karma's shoulder was from DL6? Of course you can't. You don't have any of the DL6 evidence.
That's because you took it out of the records room yesterday.
With no proof, you cannot convict me of any crime. So sorry, Mr. Wright.
No, I'm the one who's sorry, Mr. Von Karma.
What?
Close. 1 day away from freedom. But you see, I have proof.
What?
Who would have thought you'd dig your own grave trying to convict Edward? I can link that bullet in your shoulder to the DL6 incident.
The same gun, isn't it?
And here's my final proof.
He would do that, wouldn't he? You think he would? I think he would. But... well, no, that wouldn't have anything to do with the, well, yeah, because it's his pistol. In this theory. And we could compare the ballistic markings on this bullet, this one. Let's do it. This is wrong, I know. What happens if we die? If we get it all wrong and fail? I don't know.
Take that!
Nick? This is your final proof. Don't you think you should choose a little better?
Huh? You mean that was the wrong evidence? Everyone looks kind of puzzled.
Right. No! Court sees no reason to further prolong the trial. Is there any need for more time to decide the case against the defendant? The case is extremely clear. No room for misinterpretation of the fact. Court finds the defendant, Mr. Wiles Edgeworth. No! Doomed! The accused will surrender to the court immediately. Be held pending trial at a higher court within a month from today's date. That's all. Court is adjourned. Oh! Could have done it with a bullet. Doomed. That bullet?
Take that!
No? Well, that's a bullet? Where did you get that? This is the bullet used in the DL6 incident. This was taken from the heart of the victim, Mr. Gregory Edgeworth. The bullet is preserved quite nicely, with all the ballistic markings intact. Ballistic markings. You may recall the term. It came up in the first trial 2 days ago. Ballistic markings are the fingerprints of a weapon. All bullets fired from a gun are marked with that weapon's unique pattern. By examining the markings, you can tell which weapon fired the bullet. Quite accurate. We have 2 bullets in our possession. One, the bullet removed from Gregory Edgeworth's heart. The other, Mr. Von Karma, is the bullet buried in your shoulder. We could analyze both bullets. Then, if the markings matched, you would know that both bullets had been fired with the same gun. The very same pistol, in other words, the murder weapon that killed Gregory Edgeworth. Mr. Von Karma, you will let us remove the bullet from your shoulder. Then we'll compare the ballistic markings to those on the bullet. And solve this case once and for all. Well, Mr. Von Karma? There he is, lurging. That scream. I've heard that scream before.
Wait, I know.
No, I can't breathe. Quiet, be quiet. You're not making this any easier. Stop breathing my air. I'll stop you. Stop breathing my air. Get away. Away from my father. That scream I heard in the elevator 15 years ago. Karma, it was you who screamed. Because you got shot. Edgeworth had shot him, what? Von Karma? Edgeworth, only you would dare defy me. So, was you? You and your father are my curse. Your father shamed me with the penalty on my record. And you, God, on my shoulder that would never fade. I'll bury you. I'll bury you with my bare hands. Death. Death. Years earlier, you prosecuted insult. Karma, it's not like you to make this kind of error. Never would have thought that Edgeworth would be the one to catch you. I was careless. Sorry, but you will have to be penalized. Covered for you in the past, but not this time. Edgeworth. Oh, like none I had ever known. Me, penalized. Hours to regain my composure. Suddenly I found myself in the dock. I was in the court records room. I must have wandered in that house, thinking where I was going. The room was pitch black, the lights were on the corner. I went out into the hall and felt my way to the elevator. I pressed the button, but nothing happened. Then there was a noise. In pain, a horrible burning pain in my shoulder. Just then the lights came back on. The elevator door opened before my eyes. Or 3 people in, all alive and lost, deprivation. Much to my surprise, a pistol lay at my feet. I knew then it was destiny. In his last moments, Gregory Edgeworth was still unconscious. He died, never knowing who had shot him. Later, he spoke through a medium, blaming Mr. Yogi.
He was fooled.
It was the perfect crime. Who would have thought another man would have come to open that elevator door? Judge. What? What are you doing? Good job. Bring an end to this miserable charade. Now, end it. Very well. It appears that we have come a very long way to the end of this maze. 15 years later, Mr. Miles Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. You are innocent? You are innocent. As you said, it was all a nightmare. Yes, Your Honor. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, not guilty. That is all. This court is adjourned. Number 28, 5:38 p.m. Court, defendant lobby number 2.
Nick, we did it! Did you see his face? On camera looked even paler than usual. He's pretending to be all cool, but inside you crushed him. Crushed! Gotta say I'm impressed. It was pretty close, though. I was sure we had it. No, I was on the verge of tears the whole time myself. Now it's all just a good memory. Well, it's finally over, Edgeworth.
Right.
Yeah?
Not sure how to say this.
I know. Try. Thank you.
Let's see. Thank you, Wright.
You're welcome. I think you could have done better than that.
I'm not good at this sort of thing.
You got a lot to learn, Edgeworth. He's got you there.
Oh!
Amazing, pal. You pulled through just like I thought you would. I'll never forget this. I owe you one, pal. Night, let's party. Dinner's on me. Yeah, my salary went down a bit this month. Who cares? You, Mr. Edgeworth? You should take a lesson from Detective Gumshoe. That's how you say thank you.
Let's see.
Foolish. Don't worry. Take a little at a time. You'll get used to it. It's been 15 years since I've seen Edgeworth this unguarded. Hey, y'all. What up? Y'all were great in that. Thank you. Yo, Edgeworth, congrats.
Thank y'all very much.
I knew you were innocent from the start, of course. You just look at you. You wouldn't stick your hand in the cookie jar even if no one was there.
You were the witness on the first day of the trial, weren't you?
Yeah, well, let bygones be bygones, eh? Speaking of which, what are you doing now, Lotta? And me? Oh, I went back to college.
Like 2 days.
I gave up trying to be an investigative photographer real quick. Really? That's too bad. In 2 days and it's Christmas break. Huh? Isn't that the hot dog guy from the park? Huh? It's over, Nick. My life is over. Why the sad face, Larry? What happened now? Oh, Nick, I'm not long for this world. Don't look sick. It's Kiance. She's going to live in Paris. Paris, Nick. She's leaving me behind. Should have seen that coming. Yeah, Wedgie, there you are. Yes, here I am. Congrats, Edgy. Here, a little gift from me in celebration.
Celebration. That's unusual for you.
Harry Butts, you come along tonight too. My treat, pal. Huh? Thanks. Looking forward to it. Oh, yo, Nick. That's a suit that questioned me. When he says treat, that's not police talk for present food, right? I think you'll be fine, Larry.
Right.
Yeah, what's up?
Envelope that Larry gave me. Got money in it. It's $38 because he stole first place.
Well, yeah, that's not that strange. People give money away to celebrate sometimes.
$38 wrong.
Huh. Well, the amount. I mean, it's not a little, but it's not a lot either. $38 exactly. Nick! Isn't that exactly the amount of lunch money that was stolen from Mr. Edgeworth in school? $38? No! No! Larry, it was you!
What are you so surprised about, right?
Huh?
He was absent that day from school, right? Doesn't automatically rule him out as a suspect.
What?
Back that day, 15 years ago. Took the day off. He was bored, so he came into school anyway. He saw the money lying there, and the rest is history.
I never was good at history. Edgeworth? You didn't know, did you?
I suspected. I just couldn't picture Larry protecting you like he did that day. Everyone else was saying you did it. The whole class was against you, remember?
Yeah, well.
Right, you may not know this, but we used to have a saying back in school. When things smells, it's usually the blood.
I know.
Really right. Surprised you didn't figure it out.
This sure is an unexpected turn of events, huh? Edgeworth? You should have told me.
No, Nick. It was 15 years ago. Don't you think the statute of limitations is run out, Mr. Edgeworth? I'd say so, yeah.
There you have it. But where does that leave me? I became a defense attorney because of what you two did.
No, you always have been something of an insufferable emotional.
Yeah, and you get worked up too easily, too. Death! The death sentence for both of you. If only I'd known, I'd have become a prosecutor.
Same goes for me, only the other way around. For the longest time, I thought that I might have killed my own father. I thought I might be a criminal. I became a prosecutor, in part to punish myself. If I'd known the truth, I'd have become a defense attorney after all.
Edgeworth?
Switch right.
Hey, y'all. Line up, I'll take a photo. Hey, photo time. Let's go. Fuzzy Pickles?
After that, dinner on me.
Detective Gumshoe took us out on the town that night. celebrated Edgeworth's newfound freedom, even though Edgeworth himself is still in detention.
Number 29, 5:02 a.m. Wright and Co.
Well, I went a little overboard yesterday. My head hurts. It's still only 5 o'clock. Maybe I should go back to sleep. This letter?
Morning, Nick. You were really impressive yesterday. And you made me think about what I'm doing here. I'm a spirit medium. I'm training in it. I wanted to help Mr. Edgeworth, too. I wanted to help you. Couldn't. It was useless. So I've decided to go back to my training. Become a full-fledged spirit medium for starters. Couldn't say it to your face, so I left this letter. Bye, Nick.
Goodbye? What time is it? Ah, the first trains for the mountains have already left. To the station! Guess I'm too late. Hey! Nick! Maya! Oh, you're leaving.
Yeah. It's hard being a spirit medium who can't talk to spirits. And I think you'll do fine without me, Nick. Be good, okay?
Hold it!
Jason! Wait!
What?
I never could have saved Edgeworth without your help.
Huh?
The day of the trial, I heard her. I heard Mia's voice.
You heard my sister?
Yes. Only her voice, but still. It was at the very end when I thought we'd lost everything.
Oh, that's my sister for you. Did the gumshoe help? And Mr. Grossberg? And even Larry? I'm the only one who couldn't help. It's useless, Nick.
But you were the one who stopped Von Karma, Maya.
Huh? I didn't do anything. All I did was wander around in a daze.
Sorry, but I have evidence that you helped.
Evidence?
I have some evidence to cheer up.
Ollie? Oh, the, I don't know what I'm showing her! Is it the metal detector? Because she figured out the, I don't know.
Take that!
Huh? Sorry, Nick. I don't understand.
Oh, now that I think about it, I don't understand this evidence either.
It's okay. You don't have to try to cheer me up. But one day I'll come back and be useful, I promise. Oh, is it?
See you soon, Maya.
It's Nick.
So my story ends. Time to turn a new page. And say goodbye to the novice defense attorney once more. Now a new story begins. With the same old crazy cast of characters.
I don't think you've graduated yet, haven't you? Mr. Wright, perhaps you'd like to rethink that claim?
Yes, Your Honor. Bad feeling about this.
Objection!
Got credits!
Woohoo! Alright.
Hey, pal, Miss Bedford came down from the precinct to wish me a happy new year. I got a
pleasant surprise. Detective Gumshoe. He hung his head low and went right back outside. Like he was embarrassed or something. Strange, huh? Nick? I haven't seen him lately. Who, me? I've been working at a cheese shop. That Missy's a nice lady, but she's not exactly what you'd call a cheap date. Huh? Oh, she's in Hawaii right now, yeah. Right? Yeah, I remember him. I hear he's been busy lately. You know, not to ring my own bell, but I sort of taught him everything he knows. I'm sure he's grateful. I'm very sure.
It's right. Ah, defense attorney for whom I wrote that affidavit for, yes. No, I've taken over management of the Gatewater Hotel recently. Could you be in the area? Please stop by. Oh, it's you. Phoenix Wright. Oh, yes, Mia's understudy, was he not? I wonder how he's doing. Haven't seen him of late. Oh, the days of my youth. Like the scent of fresh lemon. Not really.
Phoenix Wright. Is he an actor? I'm not buying it. You can't be a star with a name like Phoenix. Did you know they're finally putting her in 3D?
Pleased to announce the Pink Princess a hit. I'm sure owe that Mr. Wright a good deal. Oh, and I'm keeping my face out of the public eye till the show's over. I wouldn't want to ruin any kid's dreams, you know. Oh no. Be the Pink Princess.
Oh, I got a letter from Maya the other day. Sounds like she caught a cold standing under a waterfall. I wanted to visit, but didn't have time. So I sent her some Pink Princess trading cards. But she can't buy them where she is. And the place she's living at anywhere.
Who's that? You want to talk? Let's talk Pink Princess. They're right. You know, I snuck into the studio the other day, and I saw her. She went inside the Pink Princess suit. What a dog. It's kind of a shock for a boy of my tender age.
I remember, right? That lawyer guy. Oh, me? I'm in training to become a paranormal photographer. You know that picture I took of everyone? Well, just behind them there was a ghost. For real? Now that's talent. I'm gonna be famous.
Whose ghost could it be?
They're running away from us.
Yeah.
Most of me,
Hold it!
A new episode has been added. But, of course, we've run out of our time for today.